Coverage of the Dota 2 Asia Championships 2018. Now, our final series of the day is the final breakout game of the day as well. Features two teams, one from the west, one from the east. You know how it goes already, and we're so far 3-0 to the western teams. Not a single Chinese team has managed to make it through the breakouts, which means we just have LGD. Or do we? Because the question on everyone's lips now is, can Vici Gaming win against Team Secret in the final series of the day? We've had a little swap on our panel. We welcome Lacoste back alongside Winter and Jack. How you doing?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good. This game was pretty hype, if you're a Western fan, of course.
Yeah.
Jack, what would Chinese forums look like if, let's say, Vici loses this one?
I'm sure the fans are being flamed already. So rather, that makes whatever. The flames are being fanned already. The fans are being. So. Yeah.
Maybe the fans are being flamed. I know the players are.
You have the players just turn around and do that instead. But yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of criticisms of the scene. I mean, it's just there's so many hopes and expectations placed on them. It's very easy to just turn and flame them when they're not doing well and they're letting the country down. It's very nationalistic kind of sentiments as well. China, I don't want to go too much into a history lesson here, but even like 100 years ago or so, China was at the mercy of many foreign countries, getting picked on in a sense, and so that part is always part of the Chinese consciousness. It's kind of like we're these like kind of invaders or whatever. Yeah. We have to deal with them. So
they're very patriotic as well, aren't they? They want their teams to win. There's a touch of realism about the fans, though, from what I've been reading, and it's that they kind of expected this in some ways. Maybe not all four teams to not make it, but certainly maybe 2 or 3 of the 4 teams probably wouldn't get through. So they at least are being more realistic now, I guess.
Yeah, no one thought that these teams were really performing at their peak, anywhere near their peak, or at a high level. Again, IG just kind of made it in because they were defending champions, right? And then Newbie has not looked good. Vici has been struggling for a while. So I don't think that the expectations were that high for them. At the same time, though, for them all to just go out in the first round is...
It would be pretty sad, wouldn't it? Yeah. Especially for the crowd here. I know that they love watching Chinese Dota and Chinese teams in the arena as well, so obviously very sad for them. But we still have got a chance here to see Vici Gaming go through. Are any of you on that side?
I think they can take a game away from Secret, but I don't think... they can take them.
All right, we're going to get more thoughts from you in just a moment, but we have the team introductions right now in the main stage.
Welcome on stage, Vici Gaming. Welcome on stage, Team Secret.
There we go then. Third plays fifth in the Dota professional circuit, but the gap between those two is actually quite large right now. We were saying just before we welcomed the teams in, expectations on Vici being able to take down Secret. Lacoste, you were about to say?
I was about to say that I don't think they can take him down in this series, but they can take a game away from them. I think the biggest problem for Vici Gaming is after the laning stage, what to do next. If you look at their games, all that they lost is they're kind of falling apart. They need that leader that tells them what to do because coach is not with them anymore. So he can only stay during the draft, and that seems to be a big problem. If you look at the game where they played they had Lion, Dark Willow, so the chain feed, just one mistake after another, and then seems like they're really easy to tilt. Jack, what are you smiling about?
I'm just listening intently to your
Do you agree,
explanation.
though, Jack?
To some extent, I think Secret has shown they can be a pretty inconsistent team at times. I think they lean towards counter-picking more than many other teams, but that exposes them because they have to play different heroes and lineups at different paces sometimes too. So that's just a hard style to be very consistent with. The confidence is always going to be there. Sometimes it feels they play a little bit too slow. I think, for instance, against a newbie at Bucharest, we saw some issues with that. But this tournament, they've looked okay so far, and they've shown they can play a very fast pace as well when it calls for it. So I think the consistency is something that could be an issue.
I would say their biggest problem, Team Secret, is they are sometimes victims of their own draft. Like, I think Puppy picks sometimes way too greedy. He is a position 5 that plays greedy, and in this meta, you can afford it, but sometimes I think they overdo it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, when they lose, oftentimes it's more about having drafts being too greedy or drafts that don't work together. I mean, in the group stage, we could see some of their games have this kind of like very weird picks. Jakiro on position 4.
Hey, Jakiro's not a weird pick.
On a weird position.
Okay.
Apologize, or I'll destroy my items.
You laugh now, but that's a legitimate threat.
Yep, that's why you're almost 6-month ban in matchmaking.
Hey,
Easy.
careful now. No flames, Winter, no flames.
No flames. But, I mean, what you guys mentioned about Secret and Vici, they are doing those kind of things like a lot recently, not so consistent. I mean, Secret came off from a really, really good win from Dream League, so we kind of expected more from them, from the group stages. I mean, they've been trying these kind of picks, whatnot, but still, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, what I was going to ask you about that. Do you feel like they maybe were experimenting a little bit too much during the group stage?
Possibly, because you are really, really confident after a win, but then again, it's patch, so maybe you can make the argument that if you don't try it in the group stage, then when are you going to try it?
Right. Yeah, that would be a good call. And Puppy, we know Lacoste he's one of those captains, isn't he? He will draft what he thinks the team needs rather than what you want to play necessarily.
Exactly. You will play what I draft, otherwise you're out of the team. So Puppy is really
that harsh. Whoa.
Puppy is really stubborn, and that's what I like about him. Like I remember the time when he was trying to make Silencer work, and he picked it a couple of times. They lost all of their games. Then he finally made it work, picked it a couple of more times, and that's enough.
Yeah, move on after that.
Yeah.
Try something else.
Another hero.
I mean, he's on Wraith King now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was the one that found that. He pulled it out, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, they won their games with Wraith King. I mean, Wraith King has been pretty decent on the support role. You can jungle, you know. You can jungle as a support.
It's not about jungling. You have a greedy position 5 who can put a lot of pressure on the towers. That's the tower damage in Wraith King, and you have a frontliner who doesn't give a F.
Indeed. Key players on both sides. Lacoste, pick out one from Secret for me.
Yabzor, definitely. He is pretty much never feeds. He's always on point. I remember one of the games that he was involved in, let's say, 95% of Team Secret skills. And he's really versatile. Pretty much can play anything, which works well with Puppy's drafts.
Busy kill stealing his teammates sometimes. That's what he does in a game as Rubik.
Well, he is a greedy 4, and that's how they play.
I think that 4 matchup in general is something to watch out for. Landham has taken some fire lately. Again, the kind of captain role and leadership that he provides is already kind of there from Fenrir. And so oftentimes you have this support duo where one guy is like the shot caller, the very active support, and the captain, and the other guy is just like a great mechanical player who can execute in a lot of heroes. In that sense, Landham probably cannot keep up with the current generation of newer 4 players. His hero pool is a bit limited. He hasn't learned or mastered some of these new heroes to the same extent. It's looked a bit tough for them. And this team, the way Vici plays, it reminds me a little bit of kind of older EG squads, where it's like they will pick bullying lanes and allow their 2 cores to scale, because their whole team construction philosophy was take that veteran leadership and take the most mechanically skilled, highest ranking cores you can find, that being Ori and Paparazzi. But what happens is if they come out of lanes and get into a mid game where they need to work together, they need to be very coordinated in taking good fights, they can struggle sometimes and look out of sync. So that's been an issue for them.
Why is that so? Isn't that weird? You say that their weakness is mid game. They don't have like good decision making. But then again, you said they have a captain. Like usually when you don't have a captain, that happens. But
They have too many captains, too many voices.
Well, it's because, I mean, I think the captains nowadays, it's more about just setting up your team for success through the lane phase. I think once you reach the mid game, you need your cores generally to take over. And 11 does talk a lot. He is pretty active. The communication, it's not that there is a lack of communication, but it's like everyone's kind of playing their own game or has their own way of just trying to get as big as possible. So it's almost too much farming at times. So I think that's been a problem for them.
Well, you can see the difference. 7.5 more % kill participation, more damage. I like the way more that Yapster plays, even though Lanham plays a mean Dark Willow, so I don't expect Team Secret to let Dark Willow go through. Definitely one of the heroes that
you think he
Vici
plays a
wants to
mean
get.
Dark Willow? He actually made a lot of... I personally looked at the games and I felt like he had a lot of spells that they were casted at really bad timings though. I don't know.
I couldn't see all the games, but the ones that I watched, he was
Maybe
really
he had
playing
a
well.
few good games here and there, but he also had bad games as well. So I don't know. Maybe they might just still let him have the hero.
And they also love to run it with duo with AA, which I really like. The amount of the damage, and you can always go aggressive. I think AA is one of the better heroes at the moment because it counters a few of the meta heroes like the DP, the Dragon Knight, all these beefy heroes that you want to play. So one of the heroes that can also run, especially with the Luna. This is the best lane I like. Luna, Dark Willow, and AA. Also, people started the skill AA differently. No points in cold feet, just max the third spell. Yeah.
Yep, has been a lot. We'll move towards the draft, Jack. Where are Vici right now in terms of their playstyle and their performances compared to where they were a couple of months ago, or even a month ago? Because they were reaching finals. They reached the major final against Virtus Pro. They reached the minor final as well. They've played in 4 of the grand finals of the DPC, and yet never won a single one. It seems incredible when we're talking about how the season's gone that they've been one of the star performers, but they've not won one yet.
Yeah, if Newbie got flack last year for constantly coming in second place, the perennial runner-up, then VG would probably have that title this year.
For sure.
It just seems that they can't get over that final hump in the finals. I just remember for Captain's Draft as well. It seemed like they had the advantage and such huge leads against the secret team in those finals.
That
games,
final
each
is
time.
the weirdest one because it felt like they won 4 of the games and it was a best of
lost the
5.
series.
Like, how did they lose that?
Yeah.
Yeah, very weird final. I guess the Virtus Pro defeat at Katowice was probably kind of like we expected that a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, well, especially in hindsight, seeing how good Virtus Pro
Yeah.
has become in that stretch of time. But it's kind of been figuring things. I think they have similar problems to OG in a sense, where it's like it's a team that plays a little bit slower, but can everything get together in time? OG's issue might be that they're a little bit too greedy and they don't reach those points where the combos matter. This team's issue might be that there's not much synergy, again, after lane phase, bullying lanes into scaling cores and just try to have those cores take over the game. But if you're not in sync, if you're not fighting together well and cohesively, then you're not going to be able to win a lot of these games.
One of the criticisms of Vici Gaming before winter was that they were very predictable and that they did the same kind of thing every game in, game out, but that they did it very well. So even though you knew what they were going to do, it was very hard to beat them. Is that still the case? Because it seems like they're easier to beat now.
They're still easy to predict as usual, but the thing is their execution has fallen off a lot. I don't mind if my team is predictable as long as we're doing
it really well.
Yeah, doing it really well.
Yeah.
I don't really mind that. When you don't execute, then it's gonna be very hard no matter what. Like even if you're not going to be predictable or you're going to be predictable, if you're playing bad, you're just gonna lose either way.
Does it? Because do they fall into the IG trap of? I don't want to call them a patch team because they're not a patch team, but close to that with which IG won this very event 12 months ago. They were very. It seemed like the meta fell into their hands rather than they adapted to the meta, and these guys haven't really moved along with the meta, have they?
Well, there's a different story with IG. I mean, they lost Burning, which was a big thing for them. I mean, losing that old school captain that can lead the in-game. On the other hand, we have Vici, who I don't think that are influenced that much. We talked about like two voices in the team. Also, I like when they draft more around young 11. His positioning is really good in all the team fights. So these tempo controlling, team fight controlling heroes would suit him better than just playing Underlord, even though he comes back in those games as well, if he's pressured in the laning stage, right?
Yeah. How highly do you rate 11, all of you?
I don't know why, but I like him a lot. Like, he barely loses in 1-versus-1 scenario. There was one game with Beastmaster when he played against the Broodmother. He did really well. Of course, Broodmother is going to outfarm him because of the Ancients. But still, I would give 8 out of 10.
Would you have him in your top 3, top 5?
Top 5, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they need to draft more around him. His hero pool is really big, so they should not be focused on just him playing Underlord, Tide Hunter. Maybe have that Panda back in again, the Batrider, Beastmaster as well.
How is he viewed in China, Jack? Is he revered as one of the best offlaners out here?
Yeah, I think he's unquestionably been a top offlaner in this scene in the world for some time. If you talk to players from other scenes too, they also hold him in very high regard. Extremely mechanically skilled, does have a deceptively wide hero pool. We see some things that usually don't give offlaners, like a Razor or whatever, but during Captain's Draft, I think that's where he really shined. But because of the nature of the tournament, forced him into picking some of these and playing some of these heroes you wouldn't normally see. And it's like, wow, this guy's actually,
he's legit.
playing all these heroes and just dominating. I think, again, because of how this team likes to play and have that kind of independent tricore, it may not look the best for him. He can get a little bit cocky or headstrong at times and then start some bad fights. But, no offlaner is perfect, obviously. But I think that his skill has always been very highly regarded within the scene and outside.
Winter?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of those like very weird kind of offlaners. Like he plays very like different heroes from everyone else. That's why he has a very wide hero pool, very skilled in the lane. I would say that if he's on my team, I would want to try to go aggro lane so that I just give him a 1v1 matchup to allow him to take over the game. I feel that's the best way to utilize this person.
Pick his hero last?
Sorry?
Pick his hero last?
Yeah, maybe. That too. But you want to put priority on giving him a good matchup, a good lane. You don't want to sack this guy.
Well,
if you sack this guy, he's going to feed. I think people are talking about if 11 is up against 3 heroes, he always like feeds a lot, he dies a lot.
Sometimes, when he played like Magnus for a stretch last year, it was like, this guy's got a horrible lane, or Earthshaker. So this guy's got an awful lane, like, what's he going to do? And then somehow, he just goes into the jungle, and he's like the most farmed hero on the map in a little bit. So it depends. But
Just as we get into the draft, what's his nickname in China? Remind me?
Old 11?
Yeah. Didn't he have a funny nickname? Or am I thinking of something else?
It's basically the giraffe.
What?
Yeah,
Giraffe.
that was it. Because he was sticking his neck out, wasn't he? When he did the intro for, I want to say, Perfect World Masters last year. I think they did
there's
funny
like a skit.
intros.
There's like a skit
yeah,
where
and
they
he
kinda,
did the whole. Yeah, and he is very tall, by the way.
There you go, Winter. No Dark Willow.
Thank you, Lacoste. I can see that. Mr. Stipe.
Thank you, Mr. Chan. Back to
Wow.
you, Jack.
Do you know what? I've been waiting for this Winter to come out the whole tournament, right? The real Winter. Will you come out? I've realised all we needed to do was put him on 4 consecutive panels for the day, and that's what you finally
You're
get.
right, the cracks are starting to show.
They are. You get the real Winter shows up in the last series.
Throw a little Lacoste into the mix, and then
Jack, you're supposed to be on my side.
I hope this goes a full best of 3. By the way, Winter. I just the people deserve more.
With big pauses.
They need more of the real Winter. That's what they actually need right now. So Willow Razor banned on one side. We've got a Bounty Lone Druid Chen ban on the other side. Interesting.
So, I mean, Team Secret is one of the teams that is pretty much unpredictable, really hard to pick against. Same goes for Team Liquid. Virtus Pro is kind of figure out they don't have that much hero pool, like let's say Team Secret and Liquid does. All right.
Oh, some Bane Elder Titan coming in. I like this opening for Vici. Very suitable, I would say, support duo for Lanem and Fenrir. They are one of the few Chinese teams where they don't really like to play to pick the Tusk so much because Lam doesn't really want to play the hero. So I think this is a much more suitable pick for them, and it gives them that kind of lane stability that they're always looking for.
Yeah, they have played the Bane quite a bit. They've been picking this early for a while. Again, like the lane bullying, right? So that's, they want to set up their cores, go around and just win 3 lanes for your cores.
Okay. CM Lina time.
So they're gonna pick mana-dependent heroes that usually have problems with the mana early on.
Is this the way to deal with the Bane harass? So
Just
he's
spam
gonna
him out.
yeah, you just give your cores mana so that they catch up, or they can stay put in the lane to spam. I don't know. I think maybe that's the idea, but otherwise it seems rather strange. We'll have to see. We've seen them pick CM with Lina during the group stages. We talked about it a bit. Very good synergy. Gives Lina a lot of mana to work with. Makes it very easy for Lina to farm up and get big in the game.
Yep, it's the only time they've played it in the last 3 months as well. Was that one time in the groups?
No, Dragon Knight not that mana-dependent hero. With the Soul Ring, he always has enough mana to use his spells, but
And the mana talent.
yeah, I feel it's way too good not to have it. No one picks mana talent though.
Some people pick mana talent.
Yeah, in your bracket maybe. So OD.
His bracket's pretty high, man. What do you mean in his bracket?
No
Can
surprise
someone
there.
send the medics in?
I mean, OD is one of the better heroes against the Dragon Knight overall against all these beefy heroes. I'm surprised they first picked the Dragon Knight and didn't ban out OD.
5 seconds.
So to deal with OD, you commonly see like Terrorblade, Sniper, heroes that can outrange him. Nyx is also one of them.
The core they've been running a lot in this tournament that I haven't seen anyone else really play is the Kunkka. It was mentioned, this is like good against something like the Gyro, but it does give them, well, it would be a natural partner for Vici if it's played as a support, and does give them a bit more control as well. And not a hero you'd think of as having huge mana problems, but having the aura does help kind of resolve those entirely, especially if you're itemizing as a core.
So they do ban out the Bat Rider.
Radiant team back.
One of O11's favorite heroes to play, and he's really good at. Pango ban. Is that the first? I think it's the first Pango ban today.
First one today, yeah. Had a few in the group stage after it was released.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not surprising if O11 is really good at the hero. Like we said, he's a player that has a very wide range of
5 seconds
hero
remaining.
pool. Not going to be surprising if he can play that. And it's been proven if you are really good at the hero, it can be very annoying in the game.
Yep, both of the latest heroes in Dota 2 banned by Secret.
You have one save already, so they could also go in the direction of just grabbing another save for this OD. We've seen them kind of play those like raid boss lineups as well. Again, start off strong in lane, secure that core's farm, make sure the core is able to play the 1v9 game, which an OD is most certainly capable of doing.
Fun fact for Team Secret, they have never played a hero more than 100 times as a team in any form, but they have played Rubik 99 times and Ember Spirit 99 times.
Doing it on purpose then.
Obviously, right? Because Dazzle's on 95 for them right now, so 4 more of them and then they'll never play it again, right?
Boost all to 99 and just stop.
Play all heroes to 99 and never play them again. Rubik could be a 100th game with Rubik, but maybe not this one. And definitely not this one now.
Spirit, pretty good against both those heroes, the Bane and OD. They are heroes that have a saving spell when you're trying to go on their teammates. So the silence from Spirit, they're going to be very useful. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a hero that's going to need the CM's aura a lot, but definitely going to be useful against the Bane and the OD now. Maybe going to set up for a Sniper though. I think like if you have this mid lane with Spirit and Sniper, it's pretty easy to kill the OD if he steps out too far.
And Lifestealer is still in the pool against the Dragon Knight, and I also think Underlord will be highly contested in this.
Yeah, Underlord
big
and
phase.
Oh, that's the dream. Underlord CM. So much mana.
Do you think they might lose it here, though?
Maybe, possibly.
I mean, you play a lot of Underlord. What's your worst matchup to go against?
Monkey King.
Yeah, besides Monkey King, it's super annoying.
Monkey King, those are the kind of heroes that make it really hard for you to play the game.
Those are the straight up unlaneables. There's a couple other ones. We talked a little bit earlier. Maybe we have a different view on it, but I think something like a Luna, Gyro, any sort of
Yeah,
hybrid
but
damage.
those heroes, like, you just need to make sure that you get some help from your supports. Either they pull the lane for you, or you get someone to sit in the lane with you. Once you get your levels, you can do well in the lane. So they go for a Tiny here, which is still pretty much a very flexible pick here for Vici Gaming. Can go to either lane.
Yeah, if they pick a lot of counters, they can switch him to position 4, which we didn't see that much, and they have a good setup. Let's say sleep, and then you toss him back. Also, if OD is gonna go for Astral, depending on the situation. But I think Underlord is really good for Team Secret, especially with the tiny pickup.
I've been inviting kind of almost a lifestealer pick here. Seen as an in-game counter, but also a lot of magic damage coming out. They do have a vehicle for it.
But if they do lifesteal, then it'll be the DK. I mean, I guess he'll be fine with the CM Aura. And DK is pretty good laner early on against the OD. You should be able to. Oh no, it's gonna be like either a carry or offlane DK. They're gonna have, like, DP is a hero that uses the CM Aura very well, and DP plus Earth Spirit is something similar to the Sniper and Earth Spirit in the early game, where there's a lot of kill opportunity onto the enemy mid laner.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and the silence is also really, really good against the Bane and the OD, the double save.
Yeah, against the OD, it's really good. In this fight, first of all, he can't save, and he can't use the
And
orb.
he doesn't want to get an early BKB. I mean, you can, but it kind of sucks if you have to buy a BKB early on OD. Generally, you would want to purchase it after, like, maybe a Blink plus a Pike or Falstaff, so that you have the mobility to move around.
I like when teams have multiple sources of building damage. This way you have Dragonite and DP. We saw how IG picked in pretty much both games no tower damage, which is always a bad choice. I'm not sure how teams are still able to do that. Like, have zero, like literally zero tower damage.
Well, I mean, some teams have the philosophy of, we'll take your towers when you're all dead. So there's the 11 hero.
That's the Abaddon and OD combination where you have a lot of save. It's similar to having an Omni with the OD, because you're gonna have infinite mana.
Yeah, there you go, with kind of protecting this OD as their raid boss of the draft.
5 seconds remaining.
But still, those silence from Earthspree and DP, I mean, you can easily render the Abaddon useless if you can actually cast it during the fights.
Yeah.
Abaddon still needs to get really close to the OD to save him or to keep him alive. I would say Secret has answers to that. But it's very clear that Vici is, like, building around this OD. OD is going to be the center of their lineup. He's the the raid boss if everything goes well for them in the laning phase. I mean, they do have Bane. Bane is already a really, really good hero at securing their laning phase. So they're going to maybe need just another initiating hero. I think I mentioned Elder Titan, but Elder Titan is not like a reliable initiate, but it's really good with their lineup because they have like a mix of magic, some physical damage, and Elder Titan will provide the follow-up for the Tiny or the OD to start things out with the Astro.
They don't run much task, right?
No, they try to. I mean, if they pick it, I think Fenrir plays it. It's not Lamb. They'll switch roles.
I think something like a Lion or a Disruptor is a more likely pickup here.
That would be rather weak, I think. Bane plus one more position 5 hero. Just doesn't feel right.
10 seconds
Fenrir will
remaining.
more than likely take the Bane. It is his most played in the last 3 months.
5 seconds remaining.
How would the ET fit in their lineup?
Sorry, ET.
Vici, yeah.
Yeah, ET is okay. Like I said, it's one of Lamb's like comfort heroes as well. But he hasn't been playing ET much lately.
Not
though.
lately, no.
Yeah, before he was.
Before this tournament, in fact.
Radiant team pick.
Wow.
Meepo ban.
Meepo ban.
Interesting.
Don't want to get
I mean,
cheese.
yeah, there is an Meepo player. There is a Brood player. There is a Huskar player. All of them the same person on Team Secret. So they do have to worry about that a little bit, I guess.
I kind of feel like if it was me, I would worry more about the Brood than the Meepo,
Yeah.
to be honest.
5 seconds.
Not so sure about that.
Maybe they need some more physical damage in terms of something like a troll. Maybe they're running out of time. 10 seconds left.
Team Secret's turn to pick.
Oh, that's
Elder
good.
Titan.
Yeah.
I mean, it fits their lineup.
It does, and
and-
when it's obvious like that as well.
It's good, good at securing the lanes. They're gonna have like 2 bullies, like Bane and Elder Titan. I would say it's pretty much going to
10
secure
seconds
2 of their
remaining.
lanes, and you have a CM on Secret. CM is not the best
5
laner.
seconds remaining.
She's pretty weak in the early stages of the game. Yeah, once you get your levels, it's gonna help, but before that, CM is gonna struggle against these kind of heroes, and you can only use one like Frostbite early.
Enchantress.
Choose your hero.
That's a good laner. It's a good laner against OD. If you can ever get that matchup, but I think it's probably gonna be laning against the Tiny, and he's gonna have the Earth Spirit to back him up.
But Tiny deals nice with Enchantress to one extent. The cleave, so he can actually hit her with the combo, but they need to not steal too much XP out of Tiny, so his combo is strong enough.
Okay, prediction game time, Jack.
I like the synergy. I like how they protected the OD in this draft and enabled him with the ET as well for damage purposes. So I'm going to go with Vici in this game 1.
Okay.
I'm sure about VG's drop, but I'm not sure about them as a team.
Okay. And you've definitely towards better
But-
team over draft, haven't you? In the
Yeah,
last few
like
days?
because when everything is that close, usually the better team will win.
Sure.
And I think Liquid, sorry, not Liquid, Secret is the better team here, so I'm gonna go with Secret.
Okay.
I'll go with Secret as well. Enchantress, I'm not a big fan of her. Sometimes it can work, but against the OD, she has a lot of range, and against the Baron, I think it's a great pick. And overall, I think Secret is a better team.
Okay. All right. Very definitive from our panel in one way or another. 1 for Vici, 2 for Team Secret. Time to find out as we head into the arena for game number 1 of a very important game. Can China finally get one through to the quarterfinals of the upper bracket? Let's find out with game number 1.
As Paul said, it's been a very short day 1 as we have been all 2-0s and all the Chinese teams so far have been knocked out. But Vici Gaming, a lot of hopes of the crowd as well as a lot of hopes in themselves rests on this game against a very tough opponent in Team Secret. That being said, William, I do feel like this is the best game of the day. Team Secret has always been a stellar team and they didn't get top of their group, so they're actually playing in this elimination round. But we also have Vici Gaming, who may not have been the most consistent team in the world, but have had very high highs. This is a talented roster.
Yeah, surely China must win one of these 4, right?
Surely.
Surely they must win.
At
4
least not
chances.
get 2-0'd all the way
Yes.
through.
Yes, there's a lot of pride here. And I mean, Vici's draft is not bad at all. There's a good mix of team fight, good laning.
I love their draft.
Yeah, but there is something interesting that we should talk about.
Yes.
Probably the most interesting part about this is that we have a Ace Enchantress.
That's right. You thought that you had to worry about the Meepo. You had to worry about the Broodmother, the Huskar.
Ooh.
Turns out you also have to worry about the Enchantress for Ace.
Yeah, somebody was telling me that they found that Ace was probably one of the best pickups of the year, not just because he's highly skilled, but because of the diversity of heroes that he can play.
Yeah.
You can put this guy on anything. He's almost always going to be stable, just do a very good job overall. He can carry games when he needs to. He can relinquish that role and allow mid one to play some of the harder carry mids if that's necessary as well.
Yeah, it feels like he's definitely the breakout player of the year.
Yeah. And on the other side, we have this Vici squad who just looks so talented. This is a very talent-laden lineup, but for whatever reason, we haven't really seen them win the big one yet. But this would be a good start, taking out a very strong Secret squad.
And they've got a pretty good lineup for them to do it. After all, they've got the Bane Elder Titan. Lanham having that Elder Titan is a favorite as always. Vici Gaming also have Young 11, Old 11, wherever you want to call them, 11, playing the Abaddon. I think that's probably one of his kind of signature heroes, just because of the fact that it's not going to die too much in the laning phase.
Yeah, that's when I think of 11.
Be aggressive.
Yeah.
Be aggressive.
He's gonna run at you, and he's gonna die a lot. That's kind of his characteristic. That's like his special move. You know, he's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna kill him like 6 times, but he's like, on the 7th time though, I'll take this lane.
All of a sudden, he gets the tinted glasses. He pushes them up to his forehead.
Yeah, this was his plan all along.
You followed into my trap.
I think that Western offlaners respect this guy more than any other Chinese offlaner.
They do.
Yeah, they think that 11 is a beast. Like, it's the tactical feed.
Mm-hmm.
It drags so much attention away from the mid lane and the safe lane. You've got to try to give your cores the best possible game, and that's what he's done pretty consistently throughout Vici. But it is a sort of unstable way to play because you are still feeding away quite a bit of gold.
Yes, and I would also say that another downside of him is on those big team fighters, where if you have a Tidehunter or Enigma, he's not always going to land those sick ultimates. He is going to have a couple of blunders, and sometimes on those kind of heroes, you can't afford those kind of blunders.
Yeah.
But he is, I think, more than anything, I feel like he's a momentum player. Somehow that if he does get a good start, he can take over a game for you. And at the same time, if he does get shouted down in the laning phase, the weird part is he still finds a way back.
Yeah, that's...
He just, like, he dies over and over again, but he knows, like, it feels like he knows what he's doing, and he knows he's going to be able to come back into the game at some point.
It's like a certain amount of confidence that you need to have as an offlaner, because when your confidence is broken as an offlaner, you're going to start to adjust to play more scared, more timid, and as a result, like, you start to fear the deaths. Like, I've actually known some pro players that sometimes, like, get too involved in things like social media, and they see that people talk a lot about, like, how often they're dying or how poorly they're doing. Because if you're an offlaner and you're an 0-6, you're going to look the worst.
Yes.
It's just how it goes, but you can't really lose that aggression at any point. Like, the way that you play is the way that you play, and that kind of consistency allows your team to play around that. But we should talk about the Enchantress more. I think that the reason Ace is going to go mid is so that they can avoid the Death Prophet versus OD matchup, which is very unfavorable for Death Prophet. And so instead, they're going to put Ace mid as the Enchantress. What's OD supposed to do? Yes, you can Astral, but you're not really going to get very many right clicks off.
No, certainly not. So this should kind of be a free farming Enchantress. We'll see early engagement here. We are going to have the Spirit out from Lonham, so he's going to try and get some early damage in. But with mid one kind of securing these two supports' aggression, Lonham can't really chase them down with his Boots first build, so won't be able to get that nice early damage in. You see 11 walking up to his top lane where he's going to be in 1v1 against Fada. These are actually, I would say, two pretty proficient 1v1ers. Despite them being offlaners, Fada's obviously had a lot of experience as a mid laner, was known as a very oppressive mid laner who likes to be able to shut down the enemy mid. While Old 11, I think, in those 1v1 scenarios has actually shined very well as an offlane.
Yeah, I like that you say that. He's an oppressive mid. He's that type of mid that's just going to shut you down. Very good at denies. But I'm not sure how this matchup goes. Not an offlane player.
I think you're feeling okay if you're 11 right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought so too. I think the hardest part about this side lane DK, especially since you're third in farm priority in a game like this, is that you're probably not going to have access to the courier as much, which might limit things, I'd imagine.
That means we are going to have a very aggressive lane coming out from Team Secret. Not full-on aggro lane, because we do have a Crystal Maiden currently farming up the jungle and Earth Spirit's rotating into mid. So right now it's just an off-lane Death Prophet all by himself. Roll in onto the courier, going for it. Yapzor is going to be able to get it. What a big pickup that is, especially since we already mentioned how this OD won't have the easiest time against this Enchantress. If Enchantress really starts laying in a lot of harassment, there's no courier to bring in regen, and now the roll-in from Yapzor comes in as well. TP out from Lonham, might be a little bit too late though. Ace trying to get that last hit off, couldn't quite get it. The stomp will land on Ace, but it won't result in a whole lot. Healing salve used, but Paparazzi will not have any more regen funneling in.
That was pretty scary for Paparazzi. Him churning for half that second, but Ace cannot commit. Some very nice rotations from Yapzor, putting a lot of pressure on the lanes from the get-go. And if Vici is going to win this game, they're going to need a good laning phase.
Lonham trying to interrupt Puppy's Crystal Maiden, who's sitting in the jungle. Did pick up the level 2 successfully, though, so we have the early aura. Very helpful here. What do you think about this Death Prophet offlane that Midwan's kind of running right now? He seems to be doing all right. I just can't imagine that this is a hero you want to sack too much.
Yeah, probably isn't. But the good thing about Death Prophet is that her laning phase is kind of whatever because her spells are so powerful. Like, and the best part about her, like when you have a hero that you can build defensively, almost entirely defensively, but she still deals damage, you're always going to be useful at some point in the game. And once you get Yule Scepter and a little bit of HP, you're still going to be one of the highest damage dealers in the game.
Right.
You've got good survivability because of your Spirit Siphons. Like, the hero kind of just all comes together, which is why it's so popular right now.
Taking a look at the CS right now, the top laners are pretty much even between the Abaddon and the Dragon Knight. Our mid matchup 13-5 for the OD compared to the 5-1 on Ace. So really not being able to get any CS, it seems, against this OD is dominating this matchup.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a little bit more even. The Enchantress isn't a hero that I really play against too often.
As long as he doesn't die, he's fine, but now he's going to be slowed down. YapzOr's going to make sure he hits this one. Doesn't have the kick, though. Puppey needed to be able to get there in time for the Frostbite. Couldn't get it, though. Smart read from Paparazzi going for the instant TP.
Yeah. Ace missing a lot of creeps. We saw him miss 3 under the tower. That is costing him dearly right now as YapzOr going to start the rolling boulder down to bottom, and Puppey is going to make the rotation up to 11. Puppey played this kind of jungle Enchantress for the time being.
Well, you're not going to fight in a hard camp there, Puppey.
And that should prompt 11 to back up. And it is. Puppey should know that there's a ward now, too.
Yeah.
Because of the spawn. And indeed, he's going to ping it.
A haste rune going to be picked up by YapzOr. Let's see if we can make some sort of use out of this. The supports not being hugely impactful just yet for Secret. YapzOr had that nice early pick off on the Courier, but since then, both the CM and the Earth Spirit have not found a successful rotation.
Yeah. I think they anticipated this mid lane being a lot better.
Yes.
Because right now it is one-sided as Ace is getting almost doubled up right now in CS. And keep in mind that Ace has had a lot of help from this Earth Spirit. Oh.
Trying to go the jump in, bottom lane. Death Prophet barely able to stay alive with the Spirit Siphon. Gets a decent amount of healing out. Will be okay.
Had to use both the charges, so she's got to be a little bit more careful. That's going to prompt her to back. YapzOr still only level 1. Both supports not in the best of positions as YapzOr going to get slept up. Right click by Fenrir, who's already level 3. Tries to get in front.
Almost got it. He was right on top of that boulder, just not quite forward enough.
Mid lane, Paparazzi setting up with the Astral, but Enchantress should not die to any sort of ganks.
Yeah, the heal already up, and they can't really get any right clicks with level 3 untouchable. Old 11 continuing to stay aggressive in this 1v2. He got kind of gone on, and he was like, no, I'm going to still fight this one out. Forced out of breathe. Fire Stomp is actually going to miss there on Ace.
And Puppey TP's mid, thinking that there's an engagement. This is hurting the support so much. They're rotating as often as they can to compensate for the lanes, but not really accomplishing anything as Vici, pretty defensive heroes.
So besides the 1v1 mid matchup not going as well as they thought, is there anything else that Vici Gaming is doing correctly that is sort of inhibiting Secret support from being effective?
I think their supports are prioritizing the laning phase very well. Like, they know it's very unlikely that their OD dies, so they're not overcommitting to it. They're just allowing him to CS. They know that he's winning the matchup. They're being very patient, and instead they're focusing on this bottom lane, and they're allowing their heroes to do their work. Because if you look at Secret's lineup, they're very ulti dependent. With this Death Prophet, this Dragon Knight, and the Enchantress, like, Ace isn't really going to threaten this lane until she gets Impetus. And Vici are very aware of that, and they're playing very patiently as a result. Whereas Secret are almost over-rotating around the map. They're trying to get aggressive, trying to make things happen to salvage the laning phase, but haven't really been able to do too much.
A sleep out. Elder Titans coming across too. This is going to be hard pressed for mid one to be able to survive through this one, and sure enough, they actually don't even need Lanham. They have the burst damage between the Brain Sap as well as the Tiny. William, why am I seeing so many teams be willing to pick this Death Prophet into the Tiny mid lane? Actually, Paparazzi has no imprisonment, and the Impetus shots are doing a lot to him right now. Had the vision for a second there inside of the trees. Paparazzi cops one more hit, but will survive.
Now that Ace has the level 6, this is what they've been waiting for.
Vada making a rotation, picks up his level 7, and Treads came bottom lane, and so did the Death Prophet. I thought maybe they were just doing a full switch, but it looks like they're going to commit to a push here.
They've got to get the tower minimum because they're giving up this top lane as a result. Puppey going to try to soak up some of this experience, but 11 will feel very unthreatened.
Yeah, he went for the 0-4-2 build, so that Curse of Avernus will help him push the tower even faster, plus he's got the Helm of Dom creep.
I think Secret, they want to commit for this, but Vici are being really patient around this area, not really giving them anything. They've got a ward behind Secret, so they know if they disengage, and instead they're going to try to steal the stack.
Will this stack make it worth it for them if they actually take all of this?
It's pretty good.
The Spirit goes out. They actually are going to try and interrupt this, see if they can take some of the CS before Secret can nab most of it.
The worst part about this, though, is that 11 has been given a lot of time at top by himself. He's got a Helm of Dom. This is going to prompt Fada to come all the way back. His real goal was to try to get the tower, but Vici all over it.
Pretty interesting how he prioritized the Helm of Dom so much he doesn't even have boots, or didn't. Just picked it up in the side shop, is trying to complete face boots now to get the full lane domination of the Abaddon.
It's the nature of the hero because you aren't really going to rotate anywhere. You want to focus on this top lane. It's almost like a Beastmaster when it comes to play.
And your Curse of Avernus gives you movement speed inherently anyway, so even if you get gone on, you probably have a little bit of boost still to run away.
This mid matchup has gone a lot better since Ace has grabbed his level 6. Now the OD doesn't even want to be here.
Well, what does our OD do? Vici Gaming probably pretty happy with the laning phase so far, but maybe they need to switch things up as Ace has gotten that critical power spike.
Yeah. I think there's an inability to kill him right now with the heroes that they have.
Yeah.
I think they have to just leave him alone.
You don't think Tiny could rotate in?
No. I think he has to have a Blink Dagger minimum before they get the kill on him.
Well, Lanham, he tried to help out the mid lane. Going to be caught by the 2 support. Secret relying in wait. They knew Ace was pressuring the mid lane so hard, something had to come out of Vici Gaming. And as a result, Lanham is going to be dead. And now mid one cuts across with the Exorcism. Another very early attempt at a push here from Secret. Vici Gaming are going to try and defend that, though, just like they did with the bottom lane. Imprisonment goes out, just a little bit of harassment. Now the stomp onto YapzOr, trying to stop him. Mid-roll, they manage to get him. Now the question is whether or not they can blow him up with the Tiny. They certainly can. They've used the Avalanche and everything, though, so Ace is not going to be caught on his way out. Vici Gaming, though, again, defending the towers pushed by Secret. It feels like Secret, because the laning phase went bad, they need these towers very badly, but Vici Gaming have made that read and are putting all in to defend.
Yeah. Still, right now, with how well Fada has done, stolen stacks, he is #1 in net worth. Ori has made the rotation up the top to try to pressure this tower. Fada's just going to get out and give it up. There are a lot of Vici heroes, and the first tower of the game is going to get claimed by this rotation. And I like what Secret did there. They made the rotation into the mid lane because that's where their strongest hero is, and they even grabbed the tower now that they see 3 heroes on the side of Vici up there.
So at least we see Vici Gaming, they make a similar kind of rotation to Secret, but at least they're able to actually take the tower. Secret, of course, took the mid-tier 1 tower, which is probably a little bit better for them.
Yeah. Do you remember the game that Liquid played against Fnatic, where Kuroki played Timbersaw?
Yes, and he just sat in mid. That's literally all he did.
This is what's happening in a game like this. Ace was able to play so aggressively forward.
Yeah. And he was able to cut the mid tower, which is kind of weird to say, but he can actually do that as an Enchantress. Same went for Kuro and his Timbersaw. And then you've got the advantage that the 10-minute Siege Wagon came up, he stole that one, and allowed him to take that tower that much easier. The lead, very slight for Vici Gaming. After the towers got traded out, Secret feels like they, I'm not going to say fully recovered from the laning phase, because it was still kind of good for DK, right? He got free farm against an Abaddon, vice versa.
Yeah, this Tiny, though, has also had a pretty free lane. But everyone on the side of Secret, aside from mid one, is starting to catch up at bottom. Ace.
See if they can get him with the Earth Splitters. Oh, nice silence out from YapzOr still. Or he's going to pursue, has the Avalanche Toss combination. Managed to catch Ace, but he's already healed so much. Can't go for that kill anymore. And he's going to receive some punishment in return. Again, Vici Gaming doing everything they can to keep their towers alive against the double push lineup, maybe even triple push lineup of Secret. All 3 of their cores giving them something to threaten these towers.
That movement, though, is going to open up the map a little bit more for mid one. And he's going to TP in mid. Going to cancel that.
Yeah, they've already surrounded that tower.
This is a very important tower for Vici to claim. It means that they can also defend their bottom tower if they're fast enough.
And they'll definitely take it here. Abaddon does have a TP, so if he wants to get in front of this bottom lane, he can do so.
Yeah. I would imagine that Vici...
They're not going to go for it, though.
Yeah. They ping like crazy, and they brought 3 heroes down here. I think the idea was to bring it.
Do you think maybe they saw like the double damage or something and said, maybe it's a little bit risky?
Yeah, getting into a 5-on-5 fight when you can't kill this Enchantress is really risky. Like wherever the Enchantress goes, it just becomes a dead lane.
So you go for the safer play. Now they're going to make the jump into the bottom lane as they see rotations mid. They're going to try and go for Fada. Sleep up the Earth Spirit for the time being. He's going to be out of this fight. Now he comes back alive and is going to help kill Fenrir. Looks like they just didn't have the damage to be able to pop the Dragonite and will lose the support as a result. OD's coming over. They can actually hit the clap here with a toss up in the air. Puppy's going to be controlled up. Paparazzi comes in. Couldn't quite get the finish. The imprisonment should be enough now, but we have this OD who's going to be targeted by Fada. 11's here to be able to protect the OD, so Fada realizes this is no longer fighting once, but Ori in the back line is going to be covered up by the exorcism. He is now dead, and this Earth Spirit ultimate is going to work on Paparazzi. Managed to get the imprisonment onto the Enchantress to make sure he can't get a good slow in. Old 11 kicked back into Ace, and he can level up his ultimate here anytime, and he's going to pop it here as the Infinite Shot comes in. Trying to get the most heal bang for his buck.
Oh, I really like that play. It's similar to what 33 tried to do earlier where he had the disassembled Aeon Disc. He saves that ulti. It's something that AUI taught me a while back where you hold on to the Wraith King ult because if you pop it and it's a waste, well, then you've got a spell on like a 3-minute cooldown.
Yeah.
But by holding on to it, you can kind of time it for when you want it.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of the Bens have kind of learned that trick recently. It's just rare to see in a Batten get so much free farm and be so unpressured that he still has that option at level 10.
Yeah, it's one of those things about Dotas. It seems so simple and when you think about it, but nice move overall. It's just not something that we see very often.
3-3, 14.5 minutes in. Oh, Paparazzi getting a lot of damage on Min One. They need something nice. Little juke around the trees. Look at him. He's staying out of sight. Now Fada's here. They need that stun too because Paparazzi's just about to finish him off, but now Min One is healed up with a Spirit Siphon in prison now. And Min One, he's going to be actually be able to heal so much. Paparazzi wants that kill, but now he's got to get out with the Force Staff and the haste now. He will be able to get over to the other side of the trees just ahead of Puppy. Bottom lane, Beam's Grip, Earth Splitter, Toss, everything to bring down that Enchantress.
That is what it takes. That is what you will use. 2 different ults and the burst damage of the Tiny is finally enough to bring down Ace, who is playing as though he was invincible. And in mid lane, Fada missed up. Paparazzi, no idea.
Did you not notice that before? Now he's going to be caught. As a result, the stomp is just not there fast enough. Lanham couldn't protect their mid carry, so they're actually going to trade mids out here.
When you have 4 heroes in that lane, you need to get something out of it. There's no tower for them to grab right after. They can't go to Roshan with their heroes quite yet, especially not with the Enchantress dead. So it's important that they got the kill. You get something out of it in that position. And that's why Paparazzi, I feel like he should have known about that.
Yeah. It was a play that Secret had to go for, and he presented the opportunity for Secret to do so. We are going to get the Breathe Fire damage reduction for the DK. We've seen this a couple times. Feel like about now in the pro scene, I'm feeling like it's like 50-50 which one we go for.
I'm okay with either of them.
Yeah.
It's very game dependent. That's one of the few that will make that call.
Roll in, attempt, blink back by Ori. Silence on Elder Titan, but with Ori disengaging, that is enough for Secret to give up on that kill. Soul Ring attempted to be complete by Lanham, so he could just constantly stay out on the map behind his cores, protecting them as best as possible. And he's got to, especially with Fada picking up this Shadow Blade. We're already seeing how he's playing this one out. He's trying to set up those kills for his allies. They need an initiator of some kind, as the Earth Spirit just isn't strong enough as is.
So if you notice, like a lot of the cores in this game don't really need to build offensive items. These big damage dealing items like Bloodthorns or Daedaluses or anything like that. They're just good with their spells alone. And that's why they're so popular right now. You have a hero like OD that can almost entirely build defensively. He doesn't need DPS items. And as a result, you can build these low-cost items that enable you to play faster and faster. Same thing goes for Death Prophet, where this guy has a Hood and a Yule Scepter, and he's still going to probably deal the most damage in every fight.
Why is that? Is it something about defensive items, these utility items being so strong? Is it something about the meta? And just like, as long as you prevent yourself from being popped, it's good? Or
I think it's a combination of things. The way that Dota always goes is it becomes faster and faster. And so you need to pick these heroes that are just good with very little. Like, look at this Enchantress right now. Just a Hood, doesn't have to build into some of the more expensive items in this game. And so you're trying to match that speed that your opponent's bringing.
Right. Ace TPing up to the top lane because that's where our fight is going to be. Nice kick from Yapzor. Landing on 2 after the roll in. Now Puppy's going to be able to get the freezing field. The finish on Paparazzi barely. Fenrir also not going to make his way out. A successful team fight for Team Secret, but just by the skin of their teeth.
That was so close. I thought there was no way that the OD was going to get that TP off.
Yeah.
But
And then it actually almost came true.
the key here is, can you get anything more out of this? And with the Enchantress, this is what we want, some kind of objective-based play. Walk into the Roshan pit. This would be a nice pickup.
It does look like Vici Gaming have a read, as they already have the Spirit out from Lanham. He's going to be able to hit a stomp on Ace if he wants. No, holds it. I thought that would have been a decent time just to keep those heroes in the pit, see what happens. As is, though, with them running out of the pit, it's just going to be a wasted exorcism. So you are right, William. They get those 2 kills, but they weren't actually able to translate it into anything else.
Yeah, that's the scary thing right now for Secret is they are getting some kills, but they're not transitioning. And you want them to be able to transition some of these.
It feels like they're always less map control. They're always on their side of the map. They're not able to use these exorcisms and dragon forms to go and pressure towers like they'd like.
They're going to go in themselves.
Ooh, this is a cute little play. I like this from Vici Gaming.
This is aggressive. And this is what we've been missing in some of these games out of these Chinese teams, is playing to win. And that's exactly what they're doing here.
Secret see Fenrir's positioning. They're like, there's no way this guy is doing this by himself. We're going to take that kill, but we need to get in the pit now. They're going to slow down to Ori, and they're going to actually get into a full team fight here because Roshan's not going to be dying anytime soon. So Old 11 first out of the pit. Go for mid one, see if they can blow him up, see if they can actually take him down. They beat him down with a stick, but the OD managed to drop a big ultimate that kills Yapzor as well. Fada is still going to try and fight this one out. They have a good Earth Spirit ultimate, taking these heroes down. Paparazzi, though, thanks in part to the Solar Crest, tanks a lot of that damage, but it does mean that Old 11 is going to end up going down. Earth Splitter out with the Stomp. Going to be able to actually not hit anything. Paparazzi does have a Force Staff, needs to be able to imprison 1 and Force Staff away, but Fada's going to be able to nail that stun, and he's not going to be making it out here. Force Staff away a little bit farther, but the impetus shot will finish him off. Double kill for Ace. Vici Gaming thought with the exorcism down, they would be able to take an engagement, or at least try and sneak a Roshan. Turns out they were wrong. A 2-for-3 exchange with a buyback out from the Earth Spirit, though. This fight is not over yet.
Secret's going to go for it. Vici.
Sneaking out, trying to catch some heroes, seeing if they actually want to interrupt this Roshan reattempt by Team Secret.
I'm going to spot it. And without the Death Prophet ultimate, it's not going to be easy for him either.
Yeah, certainly not. This Earth Spirit still getting really good information, though, in the back line. Sees Ori at about half HP.
Now that's
maybe he can kick Lanham down to the river. Thought about it. Lanham backed up. Exorcism out, and they're going to give up on Roshan. Probably for the best for Vici Gaming, to be honest.
That was a wild attempt by them. They don't have the best Roche-taking heroes. They thought that maybe Secret would completely disengage, somebody would go bottom, but not the case at all. Secret, they stayed around the area, and they are rewarded for their efforts.
Maybe they thought too much of their Abaddon, because he's really the only Roche hero here, right? They thought, oh, with the Solar Crest, the Helmet Dom, we'll be able to do this, no problem. Turns out a lot slower than they anticipated.
And I really like this Secret. They get the objective in the Roshan. They know that.
Oh, Fada's going to play to cover bottom lane as well.
Now they're playing. They're speeding up their game.
Yeah.
They're moving everywhere on the map right now.
Still, though, thanks to Helmet Dom, Old 11 can always threaten these towers. Doesn't even need a hero there. Mass rotations coming out from Secret, but nobody here from Vici Gaming. Just old Cardi. And he'll be the one to fall. Tower deny, perhaps. We'll go back to the replay. Check out that Roshan fight where Vici Gaming tried to sneak it after Secret failed to get the Roshan earlier. But you could see with one hero down and Old 11 already at half HP, he has to pop his false promise pretty early into this fight, and it results in his death later on. Once Secret were able to re-engage with Ace and Fada. I mean, they didn't need mid-1 in that fight, right? He didn't have exorcism, so his death, it looks impactful, but it's not actually.
Yeah, they can still fight because Ace can just frontline.
Yeah.
Which is why Paparazzi's trying to go for the BKB 11. Going for the TP will be successful.
Good little hiding spot there.
They're still looking.
Yeah, they still have not found where he was when he TP'd out.
They'll know their folly soon, though.
And now more pressure on the side lanes. A tier 2 being beaten down by creeps. And Ace trying to mess with Old 11. I don't think Old 11 cares too much. He's got that Solar Crest, so some of the shots aren't even landing in the first place. So he gets the lane pushed out. Is going for a Lotus Orb next. So he can get rid of the silence, I presume. The panel talked about how Death Prophet can be an effective hero against the Abaddon, who's trying to protect heroes like this this OD. The AoE silence is pretty good at covering that.
Yeah. If you get the Silver Edge hit off into the silence on the Death Prophet, the Abaddon just can't ult.
Yeah. So you got to find a way to be able to take that off. Lotus Orb is perfect. Maybe we'll see it used on one of his allies as well. See if we could bounce back some sort of Dragon Tail or something, possibly. Meanwhile, though, tier 2 will fall in the bottom lane. Tiny gonna try and do something similar here at top. Or it already died earlier and I missed it.
Even though Vici, they gave up the Roshan, Secret are leading in kills, the reason why this game score or this gold lead isn't really there for them is due to the fact that whatever Secret are doing, Vici are doing with less heroes. Because when you have the Aegis, you feel like you have to protect it. Like you have to protect that advantage. You don't want to just throw it away, so you're more likely to go for the 5-man ball. And in that sense, it makes it easier almost for Vici to play because they can avoid those fights.
Oh, the team is going to set up here on the OD. Now he has Imprisonment as well as Force Staff. He needs to make sure he's not caught by Fada's hard stun, though. Fada couldn't quite get there in time. TP in from the Abaddon, going to be canceled. He's going to try and utilize this space, knowing that there's heroes from Secret at top to push in bottom a little bit more.
And that's what I'm talking about. Whenever Secret wants to make a play because of the Aegis, they're going to go for this 3-man, try to secure themselves some kills. Whereas Vici is just farming everywhere. Everyone on this team is hitting creeps.
Same goes with tower pushes, right? Like, in order for Secret to threaten a tower, they need all their heroes, but for Vici Gaming, oftentimes it's just Old 11.
Yeah. Makes it really easy for them to play around that fact.
We are going to have a push here from Secret onto that tier 2, as we are a little bit blind here.
We're back.
Chipping away at it, Vici Gaming still trying to defend, poking at Ace as best as possible, seeing if they can get him low enough to actually just engage and maybe even take down that Aegis for free. Not going to be the case, though. Secret take the tier 2, and nothing really lost in return. They even managed to get a TP back to bottom lane. A stomp, not really lasting for long here. Is it just me or these stomps just not lasting at all?
Yeah. Only 2 levels. He's gone 4 in the natural order. What a cool spell name. DD picked up. They're going to go for the smoke. They're anticipating Aegis is out.
Oh, yeah, this would be a very fast kill if they can find some sort of important core like the Death Prophet with a double damage Tiny. It's hard to beat that kind of burst damage.
They want to kill Fada at bottom and then grab 2 towers.
Okay. Well,
but Secret are anticipating that move, and they're playing
Secret are smoked up themselves. They are going to run into each other, or he's going to be able to get the jump, though, onto Yapster. The silence comes out from mid one, not going to be good enough with BKB popped, and they get the imprisonment. Setting up on this kill, see if they can just blow up the OD real quickly. Fiend's Grip will make sure that even if the stomp misses from Lanham, they still get the kill and pressure the towers. 11 is chasing Fada right now. Into the trees he goes. They do have a dust out as well. Glimmer Cape, but Fada, if he's spotted here, has a nice little hidden pocket there in the trees, but it's going to be spotted out finally, or he's going to be able to catch him in the combination, stomp down as well. Paparazzi rips him apart as the OD, and that is 3 dead from Secret with a tier 1 down, and Vici Gaming are going to press for more. They're going to go for that tier 2 as well.
I like the fact that they still continue to go for Fada with heroes down. That was supposed to just be a one-off into 2 towers, but instead, they might even go high ground with this. They take this tower very fast with the Curse of Avernus. That's going to fall, but Vici are going to play it safe. Deal with that top lane, deal with the mid lane, reset. But a good move by them to claim 2 towers and a good amount of kills.
Correct me if I'm wrong, William, but this feels like 1,000 gold, once upon a time, lead for Secret. Didn't really feel that much. Vici Gaming now actually are the ones who hold the lead in net worth, but it feels a lot better for them. It feels like these heroes they're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And Secret, they're kind of on a watch, aren't they?
Yeah. The reason why you feel that way, and if you're watching, you're like, why doesn't it feel as though Secret is leading by more, is because they can't start the fights. It's not easy. When you lose the Absol immediately, who is your initiator, the fight almost just ends from that moment on. Because you have the one stun from the Dragon Knight to rely on as your disable.
So if you pop Exorcism and try and turn, like maybe
No
you
one's
just
gonna
get
get
blown
caught.
up, or
Yeah.
they're just going to run away, right? There's no hard catch. There's no hard lockdown.
Whereas Vici, they've got the ET, they've got the Bane. They can run in with their Abaddon to scout things first. And vision is very important in these fights. So if you've got a hero that has a full life to play with, it's a little bit scary. And Fada, the Silver Edge is going to be nice at this point. But if Vici are the ones making the moves, they'll come with the dust, they'll come with the sentries, and they'll kind of neutralize that item.
Do you think we needed a BKB on this DK? We saw the way Optic played DK against OD, and CCNC was just like constantly trying to blink in and stun that OD, trying to get the jump on him before BKB could be utilized. They're going to catch Lanham here.
Nice
Break
pickup.
him, stun him, and he is dead.
They're going to ping, just get out. 11 just continuing to farm. Still a very close game. But all three cores right now are on top for Vici.
So it's hard for Secret to be able to get an initiation, but part of that is their draft, right? They sacrificed initiation for
stronger
a
lane.
lot more laning power and a lot more pushing power. If they win that big fight, between Dragon Form, between being able to enchant a Siege Creep, between the Exorcism, they will just demolish what's left of these objectives.
They can play very quick around that. And so this net worth lead, in terms of cores, is a little bit misleading because Death Prophet ult is still so powerful at this phase of the game.
Right. So even if she's at 9K, you're going to feel a lot bigger impact than just a 9K net worth hero. But they do have to defend top, and that's what I would say Vici Gaming has been very attentive to, is always split pushing out these side lanes, trying to force the rest of Secret back on their side of the map. Secret only sending Puppey up there, still trying to maintain some sort of aggression at bottom, but couldn't really find it, and the Elder Titan this time around will not be caught trying to push.
Puppey's got an unreal amount of farm right now.
Oh, I think Lanham's going to try and bait himself a little bit more as this team sweeps across here, looking and hoping to be able to find somebody inside of their own jungle. Maybe trying to go on Lanham or something. Not going to be the case, though. Secret have been wise to this.
They should see this right now. Secret are holding on to this high ground area. It doesn't look as though Vici want to take the fight without Lanham. They're going to wait. They spot everything with this ward. They know that everyone from Secret is up here.
You think a Shrine fight is just unnecessarily risky for
It's
Vici?
so scary.
So they're going to re-smoke and see if they can get themselves maybe on that high ground next to the Roshan pit. Roshan is up. Oh boy, Vici Gaming. Are you going to try round 2 of sneaking Rosh? I hope not.
No, they're going to wait around this area and try to wait for Secret to come in, catch them unawares. But they are on the low ground, so they're going to get to the high ground here.
Maybe they're going to go for the toss back on Ace. Managed to get the toss just up in the air at the Avalanche. Almost beating Ace down to a pulp. Not quite enough. And now counter initiation. What a big play from Yapsor with Fada following up. All that AoE damage. Paparazzi, a low HP, has to turn and fight a little bit, but can't really get on top of anybody. So now he's going to hit on the Puppey. These supports, though, are not the heroes that you wanted to be able to go for. Oh, the level with the false promise already popped. He's going to be in trouble. Nice two-man stop, but the follow-up from Lanham is going to be able to protect some of his heroes, but unfortunately it still means the Abaddon is going to die. Lanham, with a high ground miss from Fada, will survive for now. And it does look like Vici Gaming are going to be able to disengage, but with 2 heroes down, it leaves wide open the Roshan. The Secret head in with the Exorcism looking to take.
And Ori looking for Puppey.
Trying to get a nice defensive ward down to be able to protect this Roshan attempt from Secret. Now, with him dead.
Exorcism's down.
And Lanham already having Spirit out. This makes it a whole lot harder for Secret. We've seen this position from them before.
There's so many sentries around that area. Secret has one down, trying to anticipate for it, but doesn't quite find the vision that Vici have, and this is going to force a disengage, but what a play from Yapsor. He was so fast on the uptick, and that was Vici not being able to follow up on the Tiny. They go in, they hard commit thinking...
I thought he was going to go for the toss back
Yeah,
there.
I thought there was a few moves that he could have made there, but when he tossed him straight into the air, I think his team was like, all right, I guess we're trying to get in here.
Yeah, and that forces this whole entire team to run forward, and that creates a nice little area for Fada and Yapzor to be able to get a strong initiation in.
Yeah, and
whereas
BKB was king there.
Yeah, whereas the other way, right, we get the toss back, then it's Secret who have to run into Vici Gaming and maybe funnel themselves a little bit.
Yeah,
so
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
watch
see
the replay again as Ori, look how far ahead he is from the rest of his team.
his team clumps up in a big group. You have a gigantic silence kick from Yapzor, and Fada with the AoE damage has already put Paparazzi well below half.
Yeah, and this makes it so that Paparazzi can't play very aggressively. And he was in the tree lines, not really the best place for this OD to play.
Yeah, for whatever reason, he really wanted to track down Yapzor.
That comes down to Yapzor making that play. He gets this 3-man stun, the follow-up. Even if you don't kill Paparazzi, you get him low enough.
Vici Gaming. They're going to try a Roshan attempt again.
It's not very fast for them.
There is no exorcism. Still going to go out, or he's going to jump in. Pops BKB, tries to finish off Ace, but a Glimmer Cape is going to be able to protect him from Paparazzi, who still wants that kill. Can't really go for the DK either. Can't get Ace. He's already healed up, and now his BKB is worn out, and he's been stunned up. But Yafada's quite low.
Right now.
Oh, freezing field plus the impetus shot threaten the OT, but it's not quite enough. We go back to the Roshan pit. They're trying to fight this one out. The exorcism is now ready to go for mid one. He's tracked down these heroes with the Spirit Siphon, looking to be able to grab Ori. Chase him down as best as possible. Lottom's going to be caught by Yapzor here. Good imprisonment save there from Paparazzi, keeping the Death Prophet off of the rest of his team. But with the Abaddon down, Secret will go back into the Roshan pit and try and finish this one off. So that's going to be both Aegis and Cheese. Aegis for Ace, who they've had a hard enough time coordinating to kill once, is now going to have a second life. And then, in turn, Vada is going to be the one. Oh, what a big jump in from Ori. If he can actually get the strong initiation, toss up in the air, but now a silence onto the OD with no BKB. He can't actually get any good damage out. Impetus shots raining in. One long-range shot is not going to be enough to be able to finish up Paparazzi's Secret. Will stay alive here. Small little temp by Vici Gaming to get in there. Couldn't really do much. Bottom lane looks like the ET is going to be caught by Yapzor and Puppy. 10-14, a 3K gold lead. Secret building up more and more steam.
Yeah, they're finally starting to get the pickoffs. The Roshan fight, once again, Vici try to take it themselves, walk in at first. The fight is very awkward for them. This is the second time now they've tried to go for Ace because he is the BKB piercer on their team, but they're just unable to do anything to him. Not able to bring him down fast enough with their heroes. You see that Paparazzi commits the BKB, he wastes that entire duration trying to follow up on the Enchantress, can't bring her down.
Scythe of Ice is going to be next item for our OD. Aeon Disc is a nice choice for Puppy, as he's not going to be blown up. The Glimmer Cape, super helpful as well. They tried to go on Ace in that last engagement, jumped him. The OD came out of the pit to try and target him, but Glimmer Cape and the shots from the OD completely whiffed.
Yeah, that was just nice engagement overall for Secret. It's, if you can't burst, the ability to reset from Secret is very good. They can wait out those BKBs. They have ways to fight around that fact. And if you look at Vici's lineup, they don't. When Team Secret pop their own BKBs on the side of this DK, he feels unkillable.
Nice aggressive ward behind this tier 2, setting Secret up for an easy push. Unlikely to Vici Gaming defend, and if they do, they're probably going to be caught. Another ward laid out. The supports are going to wrap around, make sure that this tier 2 does fall. Meanwhile, Vici Gaming not getting close to this push whatsoever. They're actually just shoving out both mid and bottom, but they're going to have to go back to defend the high ground soon. That is a double damage Dragonite. It's about to fade though. Pops his Dragon form. And with the Enchantress in the back line, we've also seen this story before with Enchantress being the one to siege the high ground. Oh, yeah, sir. Tried to go for a cheeky play, see if he could kick down Old 11. Also got a ward out. OT unable to get the Hurricane Pike in, and Ori is also threatening a tier 3 himself. Slow down a little bit. Siege Wagon's going to be put to a halt. Sending back Old 11 with the Hurricane Pike. Get some shots on him. Not able to pop his ultimate though. The Baden now going to pursue. Paparazzi catch someone with the imprisonment now. They're going to be able to get the stomp on Ace. Can they actually coordinate enough to be able to blow him
they
up?
got
The
the
silence
silence.
onto the OD, but they managed to get a Nightmare for a second. Lotus Orb, no, they're just going to throw down the imprisonment to be able to buy him a little bit of time. The BKB popped by Vada. He will go for these supports. Now Ori's here in the engagement. Dragon Tail stunned up. He needs to get out of here, though. He does have a BKB. He's going to turn and fight Vada with the stomp going out. They've almost blown up Vada, but he pops the cheese just in time. OD, silence up. Again, no damage out of him. Pops the ultimate, still not enough to be able to bring anybody down. And Paparazzi chased into the base. Ult 11, helping to be able to keep him alive. Has a Havonic shield up in a second. Now they're going to turn. Oh no, a silence out from the OD. He's not getting any damage again. These silences are just non-stop, stopping all of the ODs and damage. He can't get the arcane orbs out. And if you're not throwing down arcane orbs, then what kind of hero are you really? Ult 11 almost forced into another ultimate. They're going to try and fight this one out without needing Ori's buyback, but Secret, they're just going to keep on threatening here. Ace, low on mana. Now he's out of damage. Those impetus shots, only going to have a limited number of them for this next engagement. Jump in. Imprisonment setting up on this here with the stomp. Yapzor looks like he's going to be blown up right away. Secret playing on that high ground. Ace already trying to get some shots into that low ground onto the Abaddon, but he does have the borrowed time so he can fight. Vada's going to go for the BKB. Glimmer Cave TP out. They don't have anything to stop that one, but they do have something to stop some of these other heroes. They managed to get the Nightmare onto Ace. That's the big target. Death Prophet, Yule Scepter up in the air. They're going to have to give up on Ace. No, they actually managed to get a Yule Scepter to stop him. What a great play. BKB activated by mid-1, but they'll beat him down. No, he managed to get the TP out. Ace, okay. All these other heroes managed to escape, but surely this one will die. Ace with the Aegis too. It's going to be a long chase, but they should be able to bring him down twice. Secret, none of his allies are nearby.
He's got the pike. They're trying to cut off his region.
Try to push the OT back. He immediately blinks forward, catches them again with the imprisonment. Reset, stomp up, and now Ori will help them finish it off. So, big time kill on Ace. Really needed that one, but that was so close to being total disaster for Secret, as if the Death Prophet got caught there as well, that could have been Vici Gaming forcing out some buybacks.
Yeah, and that top engagement begins where, because they forced Puppy back, they're trying to take that 4-on-5 fight, but the Aegis Enchantress, you see how hard it is for them to take her down. There was a very nice Silver Edge hit onto the Abaddon into the silence. They almost brought down the Abaddon there, and when his ulti popped, Paparazzi in fact imprisoned him. So the entire duration was completely wasted. That forces everyone back. The Tiny goes in at that point, but he's got no backup. He thought the Abaddon with his ult procced was going to be able to follow up with him.
Normally that's the Abaddon versus the OD. That's supposed to be the counter.
Yeah, so when you said he saved him with the Astral,
I didn't see the borrow time go off. That is really unfortunate.
11 was just like, not the best timer. That was 4 seconds of his ult that just goes down for absolutely nothing.
Then they really could have done a lot better in that fight.
Yeah, and even with this Enchantress, I mean, she's 3,000 net worth behind these heroes. You saw how difficult it was to bring her down.
Yeah.
In a 1-on-4 situation where they all surrounded her.
The Spirit Vessel is finally out from our Elder Titans, so that is always going to be helpful versus the Enchantress as well as the... hell, all three of the cores actually have great ways to be able to regen up.
There's a Hex now too. But Secret had to be a little bit cleaner about getting out there.
Yeah.
Once they showed Puppy at bottom, it had to be full retreat mode. It's a 4-on-5 fight, even with a net worth disadvantage. If you look at it, Puppy represents 10k of what Secret have.
Yeah, so we're going to be caught inside the trees. Yule Scepter stops his rollout. And unless he provides some miraculous jukes here, he will be picked off. And we're getting closer and closer to those bigger talents. Level 22 right now in the Abaddon. If he gets to level 25, that's a massive one. The OD, while he struggled to be able to get good arcane orbs in because of the silences and the glimmer capes defending against the hurricane pike, the level 25, 60 arcane orb in steel means that kind of harassment becomes so much more powerful as that intelligence just builds and builds.
And now Ori playing aggressively. He wants to deal with the creep wave so that they can go for a pick. They're going to get a DD onto this OD. Sort of annoying for Vici is that they can't Roshan very easily. Like that Rosh fight area has not been kind to them.
It feels like Vici Gaming may have actually already won this game if it wasn't for the last 2 Roshan attempts.
And because they can't Roshan, it means they've got to take fights outside that base.
Right.
But Secret can be patient, and they consistently are. They're allowing Vici to open up on that area, then they just come swarming in.
feels like even when they're down, they understand that they can always come back through mistakes on the enemy, and they really just give the enemy that kind of opening, right? Where they just like, you can take all this map, you can see if you can try and catch us in the act. We're going to play tight around each other and wait for you guys to stumble into a bad engagement. Vici Gaming, though, they understand this. They're making sure to get all these lanes pushed in, not trying to die too heavily. We'll see what happens with Roshan being up. If they're going to go for this a third time, okay.
And they waited for the DD to fade out first.
Yeah.
So there's no DD on this OD. They're going to go for it again, Secret.
Okay, but they might be fast enough this time. Maybe.
It's about half. Secret.
Secret's going to go into the Radiant jungle. Wait, no.
The creep saw them. And once again, Secret spot this out. They want to go for the silver edge.
They're going to try and
Where's
break
the silence?
this up as best as possible. The imprisonment is going to be able to save. Meanwhile, Yapsor in the back line managed to get a 2-man stun plus the silence. Yapsor is going to be beaten down by Ori, though. He's already dead, but the Abaddon, he's got the false promise. He's going to be okay. Borrowed time is going to be able to keep him alive. Back up to full HP. The Death Prophet all by himself. He's caught by the Fiend's Grip. He is dead. Now the DK also caught. Vici Gaming want to be able to get as many heroes as possible, and they're going to be able to get an ace as well.
He got everyone here.
Imprisonment down. Great double stomp. Aeon Disc going out from Puppey, but he's just going to, as soon as the Aeon Disc is down, he is dead as well. Ace slowed down Vici Gaming. They found the big team fight. They have been in control of this game for a while now, but this solidifies it. Vici
They're
Gaming
gonna go high ground.
wipe Team Secret 5-0, will go high ground with no buybacks up on Team Secret.
And Secret, they try to get cute. They went for the combo onto the Abaddon. Paparazzi this time around, that was the imprisoned save that they needed. Yapsor goes in, doesn't get to drop any spells. Ori blows him up immediately. And Secret mess up a fight once, and it's going to cost them dearly. The Roshan doesn't go for Vici for the third time, but this time the fight is much cleaner for them.
Yeah, this time, the difference was they abandoned the Roshan fight, and Team Secret
So look
choosing
at that.
to get
They
into a
wasted
nasty
so
squabble.
much time. Yapsor was completely in by himself. Couldn't get any abilities off. Look at the positioning from Secret. So far away, they're split up onto that high ground river. You have 2 heroes on one side, 3 heroes on the other. You've got to be combined with your strength.
Now, they've got an Aegis, they've got a Cheese, and a Refresher Shard. So, they're going to give the Refresher Shard to the OD for the double Scythe, double BKB, allowing him to just get in there and blow somebody up. Also has the Cheese to fall back on after he pops that Refresher Shard. And we're seeing, honestly, when OD does pop the BKB, there's nothing from the Secret side that really challenges him. If Death Prophet tries to go for it with Exorcism, OD is just going to blow him up with Arcane Orbs.
Yeah. The key here is that now Fada's BKB is starting to get really low.
Yeah.
You saw that when he first runs in, when he pops his BKB, everyone from Vici, because they had 2 heroes to deal with on their side of the river, they just let him run out. They're just like, we'll deal with these first 2 heroes. You'll have to come into us, into our high ground area. It made it impossible for Secret to take that fight. And
Puppey blinks away, but they've caught the Death Prophet with the side of the Vice. He's dead. 70 seconds. Team Secret now have to defend a second lane of Rax and perhaps a third in a 4 versus 5 scenario. Lanham hot to join the rest of his team as he's pushing out the top lane. They're not going to wait for him, though, with the mid lane already pushing in. The backdoor protection is unlocked. And now it's up to Ace, letting those infinite shots rain on fire, but now this time around they got the aggressive toss forward, but Fada managed to get the BKB out. There's a Fiend's Grip. Great play from Fenrir, locking down that carry. Instant buyback out from him. Paparazzi, though, goes for the back line. Sees if he can actually take out Ace, and he does. There's no buyback there. Fada's back with his dragon form, but it's all by himself. He has got to be the lone core to fight back the wave of Vici Gaming heroes. Pushing into their base, taking the second lane of Rax, 25 seconds until the Death Prophet is back up. And that Dragon form's not going to last too much longer either. Paparazzi, fearless in his positioning, just blinks forward, immediately goes for the Crystal Maiden, eliminates another Secret hero.
They're going to call it.
Secret call it here. They know this game is over with the 19,000 gold lead for Vici Gaming. Game 1 is all theirs in this best of 3.
And it took that one fight around that Roche area. They finally learned. They disengaged from that area first. They took the high ground area on their side. They were very clean about it. Good save, good follow-up. And China finally walks away with a win. Even if Secret win this series, it'll have to take them another 2 games to do so.
The Chinese crowd have woken up. I didn't even hear them cheer that much when Vici Gaming walked in for this series. Perhaps they were as demoralized as some of the other teams looked, but Vici Gaming, with this one win, have reinvigorated the Chinese fan base here. Loud cheers coming out for them, but it is still a best of 3, still an elimination round. There is still a lot to go for, and you can't just say you're going to easily take down Team Secret with the 2-0. Vici Gaming, they rethink, see if they can come back strong in Game 2 and finish this series off and be one of the first Chinese teams to move forward.
The only Chinese team to move forward potentially as well. Yeah, thanks very much, Cap. And Blitz will come back to them, of course, for game number 2. China finally has a mark on the board with Vici Gaming winning the first game today in all 4 series. And I have to concur with Cap as well. I had a message from someone earlier and said, hey, is there a crowd there? Are they playing in front of a crowd? Because I haven't heard them. I think we heard them at the end of that game. Finally, China with a point on the board. I know one of our panel members is very happy indeed. Not only because he got his prediction right, Jack, but also because finally there's a point on the board. Hurrah! Celebrate, yes, no? Or wait until the second game?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
Well, obviously, it's nice.
You're
to
still
get
not convinced, Jack. I'm worried.
Come on, dude. Deep inside him, he knows that was just one of those games that Puppy has this kind of like very weird draft. I mean, they played really well. It was so difficult for their draft to win.
Yeah.
But they still kept the game so close. And Jack knows it. Jack knows it.
Yeah.
Next game, Puppy's going to come up with this kind of normal draft.
Yeah, I mean, Puppy's always a very confident drafter. Maybe he wants to stay ahead of the meta, basically, at all times, or kind of do what successful teams have done at large tournaments, which is to, instead of some defined meta, it's to create their own. If they start winning with things that no one else likes or uses, then they have a leg up naturally in the big tournaments. So that line of thinking is, does make a lot of sense. But this lineup, I mean, they had plenty of chances to win this game. It really just came down to the execution and the constant team fights in the Roshans. And, at the end of the day, they were able to get this raid boss protected sufficiently for him to take over the game.
Yeah, and that's the key, wasn't it, Lacoste? It was one clear fight around that Roshan that they had to try and take on differently in order to change the outcome of the game. Because at that point, very even still. Secret, I don't know. We've had a debate here before we came back to is could they have won, should they have won? But I don't think there was ever any doubt that Vici would win. But those early moments were worrying for them.
Yeah, it took them 2 Roshans to actually understand which fights they can take. Secret was all in, trying to break the Baton and just blow him up, but they forgot about the OD and the save that he provides. Again, we go back to decision making from Vici Gaming, which is their bad part, I guess. First 2 Roshans, they were trying to finish it, they couldn't make it, which could backfire.
I mean, you could
to
argue
them.
the first Roshan, they could have finished it if Tiny committed. Like, he wasn't trying, he was just running around trying to scout. Like, someone else could have done the scouting duty. They needed the Tiny inside the Roche to finish it. It was so close.
I mean, Secret should stick with what they know and how they played a month ago. They were not experimenting that much. I said it before, I'll say it again. They're just overdoing it with the draft. Like, they can play a lot of heroes, but they should just
keep it simple.
Yes.
So sometimes simple is just the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they played well in this game, though.
They did play really well, like considering the heroes. We were wondering, I was sitting here with Lacoste watching the game, like how are they not behind? They are like, it's so closely matched throughout the game. Like it was just like a 1K difference or 2K difference.
Right, but the point is, I had a question sent to me, which was, if this had been any other team playing Secret's draft, they would have lost after 25 minutes.
Yes.
And that's a fair point, right? Yeah. So they made it last longer. Is that a good thing from Secret or a bad thing as far as Vici are concerned? Because it took them too long to win this game.
Well, that's why I said, wait a minute. I don't think that they executed as well as they could have either.
Yeah.
You started to see some of the issues with coordination in some of those fights, or who's in position, who's exposing themselves, and who isn't. Like those things will be exploited continually. And again, if you don't feel that something is a draft win and you have a more even lineup, you're not necessarily going to get away with those slips.
There's one more thing that's really concerning me. The Abaddon, he was really farm and he didn't want to go Radiance. Like usually when you do that, it's more or less like you're not confident with your team like holding through the game. You're worried that the game might break apart. Like you guys both have like mentioned time and time again how during the mid game Vici is gonna like do some kind of like weird moves and lose a couple of heroes here and there. I mean, you could tell like 0-11 he really wanted to go for the Radiance, but he was worried at the same time the game would break apart if he tries to farm the Radiance. But if he has the Radiance, the game would have been secured. Like he would be just carrying the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Difficult to pick out one player, Lacoste, in this game, but who would it be if you had to?
I'd say OD definitely. He didn't have that good early game, and after he managed to require, even though they had the lineup around him pretty much.
He had a
as
lot
well.
of really good
Yes.
defensive Astros on in the team fights that won them the game.
Okay, Jack, any further thought on that?
Can't disagree with that. This is one of those, go back to what you know, right? And so Paparazzi has been hailed as some time for the best core player in China. This is a game where they clearly built it around him. He needs to judiciously use his cooldowns and his save, as you mentioned, as well as damage output to do the bulk of the lifting in this game. And you can see why the faith and trust is justified in him based on his performance.
Yep, good game from the Big P. Picking himself up 8 kills and a decent game from him. We're going to get into the second game, obviously, very, very shortly. But Lacoste, just some final wrap-up thoughts on Secret. I know you've said return back to basics. Is there anything else in there you want to see from them?
Yeah, I said that the Vici can take a game off Team Secret, so this is the one. So I expect Team Secret to draft a little bit better in game number 2. The play was good, like they didn't lack anything. It was just the lineup that was not as strong as the other teams was.
A lot of limitations. That's why
Yes.
it's so difficult for them.
All right, okay. We're going to get more thoughts from you after the break, but that's where we're headed right now. 1-0 as far as Vici Gaming are concerned, and China's hopes are all pinned on them as we head towards game number 2, which is coming up soon.